Welcome to SVG-TV News from Tuesday, November 8, 2016. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment is urging the general public, particularly parents and school administrators, to exercise caution as there has been a recorded increase in the cases of hand, foot and mouth disease here. A release from the ministry stated that symptoms of the disease include fever, sore throat, reduced appetite, painful sores, blisters on the hands and feet, sores in the mouth, soles of feet, knees, elbows, buttocks and genital area. The ministry said the condition mainly affects children under 5 years old, with a milder form of the condition affecting older children and adults, and is spread through person contact such as hugging and kissing, as well as the sharing of utensils and through bodily fluids. The ministry advises persons to wash hands regularly with soap and water, as well as disinfect surfaces such as doorknobs and toys to reduce the spread of the disease. No government has made changes or interfered with laws governing the age of consent since 1966. So says lawyer Panel Campbell on his program The Law and You on SVG-TV last evening. While tracing the development of this area of the law, the Queen's Counsel said prior to independence the age of consent was 13 years old. Campbell, however, noted that this was changed on April 7, 1966, during the government of Ebenezer Theodore Joshua, and explained the significance of this change.
And what it did was to raise the age of consent from 13 to 15, so that a girl who was not yet 15 cannot, in law, give consent to sexual intercourse. And the man who has sex with a girl between the age of 13 and 15, even with her consent, is liable to imprisonment for 5 years. A man who has sex with a girl under 13 is liable to imprisonment for life.
The Queen's Counsel reiterated that to this day, no government has made any changes to the law governing the age of consent.
Now that 15-year-old barrier to consent has remained at 15 since April 1966. It hasn't changed. So to say that any government had brought the age of consent to 18 or from 18 to 15 or all the various variations which you might hear on the radio is to be talking nonsense. No government since 1966, no parliament has interfered with the age of consent. Now, I know that some people feel that 15 is still too young and it should be raised. That is a matter for debate and discussion.
The Public Service Union, the PSU, is expressing concern that workers at the community college at the Villa campus are being victimized. In an interview with SVGTV News following the release of a media statement on the transfer of the assistant registrar at the college, President of the PSU, Elroy Boucher, explained that there was a study from Environmental Health Department that found mold and other detrimental aspects that affected the main campus building and was affecting staff. He outlined that Assistant Registrar Akelia Brown was most affected by the conditions at the building and outspokenly expressed this. He said this led to the relocation of several staff, including Brown, to different locations on the campus site. Boucher, however, alleges that after a spontaneous meeting with the Public Service Union with some staff, Brown was hastily transferred to the Technical College as a lecturer.
The college management, led by Sir Nigel Scott, were outraged that we could really come in the compound, not inform them and meet with the workers. Even though I explained to him, it was just to brief them on the meeting. They were in a rage, and I can tell you it was a rage. In fact, they wrote the union a very nasty letter, even though we explained to them that it wasn't anything serious. We were just in the area and decided to brief the workers. Immediately that same afternoon, Mr. Keely Brown and Siobhan Clark were transferred. Siobhan's transfer is less of an issue because she was transferred from the post of clerk typist to the same post at School of Nursing. So that's okay. Miss Brown's transfer was a transfer from the post of assistant registrar to that of a lecturer. She held the post of assistant registrar since 2012, and the transfer with immediate effect.
Boucher describes the decision taken by the Community College Board to transfer Brown as deliberate, unprecedented, and an attempt to intimidate other staff members.
When I read the letter of transfer, it stated that the Board of Governors who did the transfer, in other words, Dr. Keza Beach, who was the chairperson that led that, a doctor, agreed to transfer a young lady who did absolutely nothing to warrant such a transfer. That transfer is unprecedented because there is no reasoning for it. They had already relocated her. So it was just meant to drive fear into the other workers and to victimize the young lady. It's spiteful, and it's a grave injustice that is perpetrated by the director of the college and the board. We had given them some time to undo the wrong that they had done. But it seems that there is no intention of budging.
The college or its board is yet to respond to the allegations made by the PSU. Efforts continue here to develop a framework for consumer protection in SVG. A series of consultations will be taking place this week on the issue. The first consultation was held last evening at the Barody Community Center. President of the National Consumer Association, Junior Backus, says consumer protection is an issue he has lobbied for and continues to do so, noting that Vincentians on the whole have procrastinated on the matter.
This year is what? Is over 1995 to now, you're talking about 21 years. 21 years ago, we started a process to get a piece of legislation. You could imagine the number of other legislation that were passed in quick time. Take, for example, the cybercrime bill passed through to the House in a matter of a month or two. But consumer protection is 21 years we're working at it. And this is not a criticism of any particular government administration. This is a criticism of us as a people, because if we demand it, we could get it.
Backus explained that the Consumer Protection Bill will be able to mitigate some of the existing issues faced daily by consumers.
I face people every day with complaints about their experiences with some store, or with Vinlec, or with the Water Authority, or with Flow and their services. People complain about even their radio signals. People complain about a host of things. And all we do, we complain. We don't follow the process. So what this legislation is going to provide for us is an opportunity for us to gain additional protection. There are some existing legislation that covers some products or goods. There's really no consumer protection legislation on services. Some of the laws that exist in respect to the creation of, say, the CWSA or Vinlec, they may have a little consumer protection element within them. But an overall legislation to provide protection for consumer has never been passed here in this country.
A representative of the CSME unit explained to audience the nature of the legislation and the rights of the consumer.
What St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as with all other member states, would have done is to give an undertaking that the legal principles that are in the model bill are given effect to in each country. that does not prevent you, because it is a model, it doesn't prevent you, as Nicole said, from developing other provisions in your law specific to your country. So this CARICOM model bill has certain objectives. One of them is to promote fair business practices. It is also with a view to protecting consumers from improper trade practices. Also to improve your awareness, because it is said that where there is no knowledge, the people perish. So therefore you have to know what your rights are before anyone can seek to enforce them on your behalf. A lot of times people get away with things because you do not know what you're entitled to.
Social commentator Joel Providence believes that migrants, including Vincentians, have some cause for concern if the U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump is voted into office. Providence, who was a guest speaker on the radio last Sunday, said that while Trump may not be racist, he has strategically used the race issue to appeal to voters.
As we talked about, Donald Trump has been embracing xenophobia in a major way, and I made a point earlier on about he recognized the centrality of race to the elections, and he himself, they call him racist. Some persons say he is racist, and some people believe that strongly. I don't necessarily want to call him a racist, but I'm just saying that he recognizes that there's an opportunity to exploit race from for a very long time, and he has done that and he continues to do so. He capitalizes on the racial divide rather than to say he's racist. I'm not saying that you are wrong in saying that he's racist, but I'm just saying that he's exploited for his personal and direct benefit the racial divide in the United States.
And SVG-TV News team took to the streets to get the views of Vincentians on who they would like to see win the U.S. presidential race, most of whom we spoke to are rooting for the Democratic candidate, Hillary Clinton.
I will only feel good if Hillary Clinton win. I don't want Trump win at all. Why not? I don't believe in Trump, what he's saying. Because hey, what he said is same. Anytime he win, he will put Hillary in jail, and I don't like that.
Regardless to who go there, it will be ups and downs, but Trump will be a disaster. So honestly, I don't want you to get there, but I believe Hillary will make it.
Why you think Trump will be a disaster?
Because according to his policy, when I listen to some things, and it's like, I find he speaks a lot of ignorance. You know, to me, he ain't have enough love in his heart to be a president to run America.
So who you want to win? Clinton.
Why?
Huh? Why? Trump is racist.
I am hoping that the Democrats will return to power, because I think America does better internationally and even locally under the Democratic rulership. That's all I have to say.
Nothing about Trump, nothing about Hillary.
Well, Trump seems like a guy who he doesn't really know what he wants, and he's like a rich kid who has too much to play around with.
Donald Trump is talking the talk that born-bred Americans want to hear. But above all, whilst I don't fully support Donald Trump in all of his goals, what I do strongly also believe is with the Donald Trump leadership, the rest of the world will change. We have a lot of corruption in the world today, and with Donald Trump coming in there, it will compel a big change.
Well, I will look for Clinton to win so that they can maintain the Obamacare program.
Hillary.
Why?
Right? Because Trump can't sit on TV.
Hillary. Why Hillary? Type of woman to rule the place. What? Type of woman to rule the world.
Deputy Commissioner of Police, Acting Colin John, says there needs to be a revision of the death penalty here. John's comments came on Monday during an interview with SVG-TV when asked about his thoughts on this country's judicial system and whether it is too lenient given the brazen action of some criminals. John is of the view that a revision of the death penalty could prove to be an effective method to stop some of these criminal actions.
Persons who are against the death penalty would often say, well, death penalty doesn't solve crime. But I know when I was growing up, I heard persons say, well, if they never used to hang, I would have done this or I would have done that. So that's something that we may need to revisit. We may also need to revisit the issue of having stiffer penalties for gun crimes, although that can be somewhat the High Court or the Court of Appeal, where sentencing guidelines may restrict even the fact that there are statutes on the book giving, let's say, 7 years for the gun crime, but the justices, they might choose to, because of certain sentencing guidelines and because of certain similarities in cases, they may not enforce the maximum penalty. So these are things that we would have to look at.
The acting Deputy Police Commissioner further calls for continuous training within the police force, where officers are given the opportunity to observe certain trends, which he says will help in their crime-fighting efforts. He explained that crime is a multidimensional issue which requires a multifaceted approach, and outlined some strategies the police force intends to implement.
Prior to rejoining the police force, I went on some training called Smart City, Safe City. That's where the implementation of cameras or the more prevalence of CCTV is used to solve crime. That has been a tried and tested means of solving crime in big countries. So that's one area we are looking at. We are also looking at the traditional police methods where persons, well, ordinary citizens, they would give information to the police. We realize that these days that issue is drying up a bit because persons are somewhat fearful of giving information. So we have to look at areas such as witness protection and collaborative effort with other countries in order to have an effective witness protection program. We also have to look at the preventative methods of things, because a lot of the criminals are opportunistic criminals. So you do not put yourself in a position where you can be a victim. So it's a whole multifaceted approach towards solving crime.
Meanwhile, Acting Police Commissioner Renald Hadaway lamented the challenges the police force has been experiencing, which he says sometimes hamper them from carrying out their duties effectively.
The whole issue of criminals being more brazen is a reality. They seem to think that they can do anything, anytime, and get away with it. And it is compounded by what I may deem to be fair in many of the citizens who may witness these things. For their own safety and security and the security of their families and other close relatives, they are very much apprehensive in giving the information to the police. Again, we are faced with the issue of police not being confidential and these other things and so on. But I wish to assure everyone that the police are very confidential. You may have instances where police may give information, and equally there are situations where we treat that information with the strictest of confidentiality. Some time ago I would have outlined the whole issue and would have given a number of contacts where persons can contact senior officers to give information relative to crime. And we are still asking for that sort of cooperation from the public, because we cannot do it on our own. We are not out there in every nook and cranny, so to speak.
Committed to having a sound relationship between the police and the public, Acting Commissioner of Police Renald Hadaway deemed the recently held Miss Police pageant and Calypso competitions a success. The pageant, which took place on Friday, November 4th at the Russells Auditorium, was organized by the Police Welfare Association. The pageant saw 8 contestants representing several departments with the police force and 4 officers competing in the Calypso competition. The pageant was won by Camilla Boyd, representing the CID department, while the Calypso competition was won by Corporal Parnell Brown. Acting Commissioner of Police Renald Hadaway expressed much gratitude for the public support.
Certainly if you were there, but if you were, you would have seen the turnout from the public, the support that we got from the public, and that clearly shows that there is still alive and well a very good police and public relations. Yes, we are happy that we were supported overwhelmingly by the public. We we interact with the persons who were there, and this is the sort of relationship that we are trying to foster. We want to ensure that the relationship does not deteriorate, disintegrate, and that it becomes, you know, a cohesive sort of unit between us and the public.
Noting that it is the intention to make the pageant and the Calypso competition an annual event, Commissioner Hathaway said such recreational activities are just another way for the police to network with the public.
We have other areas in which we are always working closely with the public. We have our various sporting disciplines, the football, the cricket, netball, and the likes. And each time we go out, it's an opportunity for us to embrace the public. It's an opportunity for the public to get closer to the police. You know, you speak rather informally, and at times someone will be more willing to share an experience, something that they might have witnessed, etc., with the police. So we are trying to bridge that gap on a daily basis.
He added that it is with that intention that the police force is hoping to revamp the annual police dance, which he said was once a major event on the calendar. Meanwhile, commenting on the seemingly controversial calypsos sang by the contenders in the Calypso competition, which persons believe were referencing underlying issues within the police force, Commissioner Hathaway said in future there will have to be set rules and guidelines.
As an organization, the police force is a disciplinary organization, and we are governed by the whole issue of discipline, law and order, so to speak. And there's a thin line between the democratic right of an individual and the violation of that of another individual.
They were well rendered, in my opinion, but the lyrical content is a matter of debate, some of the words that came out in the lyrics. But we understand what, we understand the whole situation, so we would not, well, I would not comment about the specifics as to it at this moment.
The 2016 drama season is fast approaching, and the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College Performing Arts Society will be the first group to showcase their production, The Joys of Sin, this upcoming weekend.
This play is designed to cater to every audience, seeing as it is about sins that we commit every single day of our lives but don't really understand that we commit it. We don't really understand that we lust. We don't understand that we are envious of what others have. Those are the things we will be highlighting on in this play, and hopefully will inspire us to become better people.
The 3-night event is scheduled to run from Friday, November 11th to 13th and promises to showcase all 6 aspects of the performing arts.
The objective of this play is to make you think. So when you come, you will not only be enjoying acting from our professional dramatists, but you'll also be having dancing, poetry written and performed by the students of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, and also dances also made by them. Tickets will be on sale as of now. Well, tickets are already on sale. The cost of the tickets is $25 per person, but on Thursday, from as early as you wake up to as late as you go to bed, the tickets will be $20. Primary school students, tickets are $15 for you, and if you come in a group of 5 or more, each ticket is $15.
The production will be hosted at the Peace Memorial Hall from 8 p.m. nightly.